All right, so you've got Wizard of Legend 2 wish-listed, bookmarked, maybe just caught your eye on the old Steam store.
And we're going to dive in, see what makes this one tick, right? Because this isn't just like some kind of remaster or a fresh coat of paint. This is like
Yeah.
Wizard of Legend 2, full-on sequel action indie RPG, still done by our friends over at Dead Mage, published by Humble Games.
Nice.
And it launched October 3rd, 2024, which is
wow.
big because
That's
that
not
means
big.
it's brand new and it's in early access.
Early access. So for those who maybe haven't jumped into a game like that yet, what does that mean for someone who's like, okay, this game looks cool, I'm seeing early access?
So they actually do a really good job on the Steam page of outlining what early access means for Wizard of Legend 2 specifically. And one of the things that they mention is that they're really looking for player feedback
Oh, cool.
on the feel of the new Arcana system,
Oh, yeah.
how the co-op is flowing. They're even talking about potentially expanding it to 4-player co-op
Whoa, hold on.
based on feedback,
Right.
which is a pretty big deal.
That's awesome. So you're not just playing the game, you're kind of like in this magical think tank
Yeah,
helping shape its future, which I love.
yeah, for sure.
And speaking of shaping things, you can shape the price a little bit right now because I think there's a launch discount going on.
Absolutely. 10% off until October 10th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's a smart move by Humble Games to kind of incentivize those players to get in early while it's still cooking a little bit.
Yeah, well, they can kind of like have their voices heard the most, you know.
For sure.
But discounts aside, let's get into the meat of what this game is all about. And first off, let's address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
They've made a big visual jump. We're not talking pixel art anymore. We are going full 3D this time around.
Yeah, that's going to be a big point of conversation for sure. Wizard of Legend, the original, had this like really, really charming art style.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how fans respond to this new, like, more modern look.
And what better way to experience those new graphics than with a friend? Co-op is front and center online for now 2 players, but they are saying they want to expand it to 4 at full release. I can only imagine the chaos that's going to come with 4 mages running around.
And they're really emphasizing that co-op experience too, like on the Steam page. They even highlight how certain areas and challenges are designed specifically with teamwork in mind.
Speaking of teamwork, the whole setup for Wizard of Legend 2, it revolves around these magical trials, right?
Exactly. The game takes place in this realm called like the Floating Lands. It's this constantly shifting landscape conjured by this like powerful, enigmatic figure known only as Hieronymus.
Woohoo.
And he's basically holding these grand trials to test aspiring mages and like crown the next Wizard of Legend.
Talk about high stakes, right? Like you mess up in a trial, it's like, no, you're not worthy.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing it's not just about battling your way to the top. There's this whole wizarding council involved too, right? From what I've read.
Yeah, absolutely. The council plays a big role in kind of offering guidance, setting challenges, and generally just like observing how players handle these escalating trials. There's this real like air of mystery around them too. Like they've got their own motivations, potentially even their own contenders for the title of Wizard of Legend.
I like it, a little intrigue to spice things up.
Yeah.
But intrigue aside, you know, we know you're here for the gameplay. So how does all this actually play out? Is it still that signature Wizard of Legends, like fast-paced, action-y kind of gameplay route?
It is, but with some really interesting twists.
Okay.
So you're still dodging projectiles, chaining spells, aiming for that perfect run.
Right.
But Wizard of Legend 2 introduces this like really deep Arcana system that adds this whole new layer of strategy.
The Arcana seem to be like the big game changer here.
Yeah.
Can you break down for our listener exactly what they are?
So imagine you're channeling like the raw power of like the elements, right?
Okay.
Fire, water, earth, lightning, air, and even this like chaotic wildcard element.
Yeah.
Each Arcana is tied to one of these elements, and it essentially governs like the kinds of spells you can cast.
Okay, so instead of just picking up whatever random spells you find, it's more like you're building a focused arsenal.
Exactly.
Based on your chosen Arcana.
I love it.
I'm already thinking like, okay,
Right.
if I want to be the Ice Mage, I'm going for this Arcana.
Exactly.
What kind of crazy spells are we talking here? Give me an example.
Well, let's take like the Inferno Arcana, for instance.
Okay.
Instead of just having like a basic fireball, you could be summoning raging infernos that like engulf entire arenas.
Whoa.
Or maybe you're conjuring these walls of flame to like trap your enemies.
Nice.
And then imagine combining that with, say, a friend who's wielding the Glacial Arcana,
Oh, snap.
freezing enemies solid while you're turning up the heat.
Now that's what I'm talking about. That is synergy.
Yeah.
And it's not just about picking like a cool element and just like, all right, I'm the fire guy, that's it, right? Like you can actually get in there and like upgrade your arcana as you progress.
Yeah, you're totally right. It gets even deeper. As you conquer these trials, you overcome challenges, you're going to earn the ability to enhance your chosen arcana.
Oh, I like it.
So that Inferno Arcana we were talking about, imagine it evolving from like scorching bursts of flame to summoning like full-blown volcanic eruptions.
Okay, now you're just getting me hyped up.
Right.
And then on top of that, we got to talk about those relics, right?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like those add a whole other dimension of like customizing your playstyle.
Absolutely. Relics are these like unique items, almost like magical artifacts that you'll discover throughout these floating lands, and they can offer passive bonuses like boosting your elemental damage or even granting entirely new abilities to your spells.
Oh, really?
Like, for example, you might find a relic that makes your fire spells melt through enemy armor.
Oh, that's cool.
Opening up all these new tactical opportunities for you and your co-op partner.
I can already see myself spending like hours in the menus just like theory crafting. Like,
oh, yeah.
Okay, if I combine this arcana with these 3 relics, it just seems like every run is going to have this whole new layer of strategy and discovery.
And that's what makes like the roguelite elements of Wizard of Legend 2 so compelling.
Yeah.
Because even if you fail a trial, you're constantly unlocking new arcana, discovering rare relics.
You're always progressing.
And just gaining, a deeper understanding of how to combine these elements to like devastating effect.
So to recap for our listener, right? We've got that fast-paced magical combat that we loved from the first game.
Yeah.
We've got that co-op experience, which is designed for teamwork and like spell-slinging synergy.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got this roguelite progression system that rewards both like experimentation and mastery.
Don't forget, it's all wrapped up in this intriguing world, right?
Yeah.
Mysterious Hieronymus.
Yeah.
The ever-watchful Wizarding Council.
A little bit of lore sprinkled on top.
And since it's early access, you have the chance to directly impact how this world and the magic within it evolves.
So as you're browsing the Wizard of Legend 2 Steam page, maybe you've got it wishlisted, what element calls to you? What kind of spell-slinging legend are you going to become? Something to ponder until our next deep dive.